In this next topic, we're going to talk about how Tesla Supercharging has a 9% uptime, so basically always working, and how Rivian has joined the party and why they have joined the party for the NACS charging standard. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, so definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested in. So let us talk about this. So Tesla just released this video a few days ago and how the Tesla Supercharging network has a 99.9% network uptime. And if you take a look at this video, there's one screenshot out here that actually looks super interesting. And so shout out to Inside EVs, they were actually able to capture it. They actually have a database, a software that takes a look at all the different Tesla superchargers across the country that are out there, and they have a status on every single one of them. Maybe this is not that impressive, but because hopefully the other charging networks have this type of software as well, but leave it to Tesla to show it off and show all the green dots that are actually out there for actually being 50% occupied, more than 50% occupied, fully occupied, and all these different weight statuses, or even offline or down, because they track all this data. And that's probably why they are heavily increasing more locations month after month, year after year, because they can tell how occupied and how busy certain supercharger locations are. And so that's really cool to see. I just noticed there's one near me in LA. I don't know if you're in the LA area, there's a new supercharging location at Commerce Casino, which seems like a weird location, right? Because it's got 40 stalls. But just recently we noticed, because the rate of charging at that supercharger was like 35 cents to 40 cents. I guess for whatever reason, people were not dropping by that supercharger. So Tesla just went ahead and slashed the rates of the supercharging cost at that location. Because if you didn't know, Tesla Supercharging has time of use rates. So depending on what time you actually roll up to the charger, it could be a different cost depending on the time of day. But because this supercharger was just not being used for whatever reason, even though it's off the 5 highway, Tesla slashed it down to 21 cents, which is basically the same rate as charging at home. So not a bad idea from Tesla. They saw that no one's using it, so they basically put it on clearance at these supercharging rates. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts are. On top of that, Rivian has now joined the party with NACS hype, and they've joined in along with everybody else. So not everybody else, but GM, Ford, and also some other companies are considering this, like Hyundai and Mercedes. But this makes sense for Rivian, right? Because Rivian is trying to attack the certain area of the markets, maybe that central area of the United States that relies on trucks, relies on long distance drives, and they also need a network that can support those long distance drives. And Tesla is probably really the only location out there that has a bunch of superchargers in that certain market. So it really makes sense for these big truck manufacturers, GM, Ford, and now Rivian, to join a network that is more stable, that has more locations to fulfill the market needs of some of their customers in those locations. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff that Rivian has now also joined the party, and I can for sure see a lot more manufacturer and OEM groups joining the party, except Volkswagen. I'm not sold yet, and I think that Volkswagen would ever join because they've got Electrify America, but who knows, right? We've seen more surprises in the past and in the future, but definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going to jump into the next topic, but before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is a Patreon link where you support the channel and get access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there. So definitely check it out, with all the different interest rates for financing your Tesla. So definitely check it out. All right, let's see.